Let me start by reading the governor's comments the other day in his press conference. On the COVID emergency powers, we worked with the legislature. We have an agreement on a bill where the legislature can repeal any executive order that I issue with over 50%, both houses. The COVID emergency powers continue past April 30th. When we first did this, we thought the pandemic would be over by April 30th. This is a year ago. We said about a year. At that time, it was implausible to think it was going to go beyond a year. It's gone beyond the year, and it's not going to end by April 30th. So we're going to extend. The legislation extends the emergency power to the point where the federal government declares an end to the pandemic, which the federal government does. It controls the funds. We have more time in this situation by and large. We'll give the legislature notice. Any changes that we're making 5 days prior, to effect. If it's an emergency change as determined by the Department of Health, then it will be a short period of time. So which is it? Is he lying or is this body lying? The Speaker put out 5 facts. Fact 1, the legislation immediately repeals the governor's expanded emergency powers and he cannot issue any new directives moving forward. Folks, the issue isn't new directives. We've been living under these directives for an entire year. Have you seen what he's done to our state? The business owners who have had their life savings taken from them, their businesses destroyed, unemployment through the roof. This isn't about new directives. This is about the existing directives, hundreds of them, that he has issued. Fact number 2, the governor must justify to the legislature the extension or modification of any existing directives every 30 days. Let's be real. Based on your legislation, this is nothing more than notification to the Democratic Majority Conference, the chairs of the relevant committees, the Speaker, the Majority Leader. That's it. None of us rank and file members get notified. It's at your discretion whether we get notified. He'll accept comments? Are you kidding me? Comments? We've all been commenting for a year. Fact 3, the legislature can, by a simple majority vote, repeal any executive order at any time. Folks, in the original bill, you already had that ability. What's new? You didn't utilize it for an entire year. Fact 4, the bill allows the legislature to undo the state of emergency. Okay, that's nice. Are any of you going to vote to undo the state of emergency by April 30th? I doubt it. Fact 5, we did not negotiate this bill with the governor. Well, the governor said, on the COVID emergency powers, we've worked with the legislature. He didn't say I, he said we've, meaning his administration. The Speaker says we did not negotiate this bill with the governor. Well, you know what? Your facts actually add up. So who did negotiate the bill? Who on the second floor or in the Department of Health was involved in this negotiation? Because what's abundantly clear is that this is not a repeal. This is an extension of the governor's emergency powers. And you say, oh, he can't issue new directives. Folks, he's issued hundreds already that are in effect. They're currently set to expire on March 28th. If you pass our amendment, they will expire on March 28th. If we do nothing, his executive powers will expire on April 30th. If we pass your bill, his executive powers are going to go into infinity until the end of this state of emergency. So let's be clear about what this bill actually does and stop putting lipstick on a pig. Howard Zucker. In this bill, we are saying that these directives are at the sole discretion of the Commissioner of Health, that these public health directives are certified at his sole discretion. Okay, let's talk about his sole discretion. He issued a public health directive on March 25th, sending COVID-positive patients into nursing homes. The nursing homes had to accept them. They couldn't check their temperature. They couldn't test them for whether or not they had COVID. Several days later, they granted these nursing homes immunity. Why? Why would you ever do that? Why? Because you knew that by sending COVID-positive patients into nursing homes, where our most vulnerable residents live, that the likelihood of death increased tenfold. And as the numbers, when they were finally released, nearly a year later, when they finally came out, it was obvious that that's exactly what happened. The AP reported in May of last year that the state undercounted COVID deaths by almost 50%. The Department of Health, at the direction of the governor, was going to investigate themselves. You know, the same way that the governor was going to have somebody investigate the sexual harassment claims against him. Do you see the picture? Do you see what's going on here? This guy directed the Department of Health to cover up by 50% the total number of deaths in nursing homes. It is criminal. It's not just embarrassing. It's not just a sad episode. It is criminal. And here today, we are looking to extend his authority, and we're looking to extend the authority of Howard Zucker. The New York Times and the Wall Street Journal reported last night, that Melissa DeRosa, Linda Lathwell, Jim Malatras directed the Department of Health to whitewash their report, to scrub it of any evidence that people who died of COVID in hospitals coming from nursing homes were connected in any way. That we are going to now say Howard Zucker, in his sole discretion, is in control is laughable. Howard Zucker should tender his resignation today. As should Melissa DeRosa, Linda Lathwell, and Jim Malatras. They engaged in a coordinated criminal conspiracy to obstruct justice, and they have no business serving the people of the state of New York. My colleagues have called for the governor to resign. Some of us called for it based on the nursing home scandal. When reports came out that he was being accused of predatory sexual behavior, many of my colleagues, again, issued calls for him to resign. When the governor did not deny one of the allegations, and in fact tried to cover it up by having a, quote, independent investigation, many of my colleagues once again called on him to resign. If you believe he needs to resign, why then would we continue to give him extraordinary emergency powers? If it is clear that he has abused his office, we should not allow that to persist. I am imploring all of my colleagues, many of whom we disagree on a broad swath of issues, and that's fine. That's why we're all here. But we're not potted plants, and we're not here to carry water for our legislative leaders. We're here to represent the people who sent us here. They want action. The business owners, those who own bowling alleys, those who own restaurants, those who own movie theaters, those who operate the businesses that drive our economies, that employ our residents. They want us to act. They want us to remove his emergency powers today, right now, not in 30 days from now, not in 2 months from now. They want it now. And just so we're clear, if we did remove his powers, what would happen? What would happen is we'd return to regular order. We would actually get to do the job we were sent here to do. If there's a directive that needs to be passed into law, we can do that. And considering that we are operating via Zoom, and many of our members operate from the comfort of their home, it's clear it's not an issue of being able to get us all together right away to deal with the issues. So let's do what is right. Let's do what is fair, and let's do what is just. And repeal once and for all, in full, no gimmicks, no false statements about what this bill actually does. Let's repeal it in full. I urge all of my colleagues to support this amendment, and I thank you, Mr. Speaker.